Well, it's time for Your Money with Evans Financial. Joining us today in studio is Colin Evans. Usually we do it Tuesday, but it was good that you skipped yesterday because Patrick would have also yelled at you to leave the studio.
It was kind of nasty.
It was, but so we do thank you for being here on this Wednesday. And today we're talking about 3 scary facts about retirement. Go.
And there were 3 different studies, and I had to bring these to light because they are kind of scary, and it's really a little bit of a wake-up call for our viewers at home. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, but it's just some data as you're going into those retirement time frame that really you need to get this from putting it from the back burner of your mind to putting it a little bit to the forefront. More than half of Americans are at risk of falling short. This is a study from Fidelity. Over 52% of American households are at a risk of not even being able to cover their own household expenses when it comes time to retirement. They had a score of 78. However, Fidelity graded that, and what they mean by that is when they go into the retirement time, they've saved enough to be able to come up with about 78% of their expenses. That could be a little bit scary. Like, okay, what's 70% of the electric bill, 70% of the water bill? Right. I don't think they'll like that too much. No. A study from Nationwide said 3 in 4 older adults foresee Social Security drying up, with 75% of adults age 50 and older saying they believe that Social Security is going to run out. We've heard that before. They put the notices on our Social Security statements that it's going to run out, and the years keep changing just because Uncle Sam has got a little bit of a spending problem, and they have rated the Social Security budget in the past, and now it's really a pay-as-you-go system. But this is up from 2014. It was about 66%, and now we're showing about 75% are fear that our Social Security is not going to be there. So that is actually an increasing fear. And this last one is a study from Transamerica that nearly 3 in 4 retirees regret the savings behavior. I think we've talked about that a time or two, in the past. But it's what a lot of people that are realizing is, simply put, they waited too long, and oddly enough, the thing that actually stopped them was debt. They actually got kind of wrapped up in the debt monster and really were trying to pay off the debt first before saving. One of the things we highly suggest is to pay yourself first, meaning put the money back into a savings account first, and then you learn to live off the rest, and that just becomes a habit, a spending habit, and that can help you manage debt a little bit easier. So while there's just some dreary numbers to think about, it's really just not to be a scare tactic, but just to put into people's minds, hey, think about this. This is the time that you're going to enjoy not working. You want to really think about it and plan for it.
And you don't want to retire and then have to eventually go back to work.
Unless you want to.
Well, yeah. I don't.
If you don't like it, I'm good for about 3 days of sitting at home, so I got to have something else to do.
Well, we are not alike in that way. Colin, if there are some folks watching and they are fearful of what retirement may hold when it comes to money, how can they get a hold of you guys?
Absolutely. You can find us on the web at evansfinancial.com or shoot us an email, info@evansfinancial.com. Those go directly to me, and I do read every single one.
You're just as good on a Wednesday, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Let's go to Caroline.